And as you passionately waiting for Monday to go to office. So that's the driving force. Like whenever you've reached to that state, like I would like to go to office to serve the people. So then you can see that that's the state where we are actually practicing the servant leadership. So how come these topics or thoughts comes into our mind is, so my main core job is to experiment. Actually, I would like to really experiment a lot, whatever I read or whatever I hear, whatever I actually interact with the different types of people, and I capture them in a blogs and in a post, in a document or somewhere, and I keep validating all those things. So whatever I'll be talking about, it is what I have observed as a other servant leader, whatever I have observed personally myself as a servant leader, and the practical difficulties to really practice it. It's quite tough. It's not easy. What I am seeing is, for I have been last 21 years into the software industry, and I have, since the day of beginning, I have seen a lot of different types of leaders, and a lot of leaders has really created a mark in my life or mark in my personality, because they might be exhibiting different types of leadership traits, not necessarily servant leadership traits only. There is a vast leadership model. Like, you might have come across different types of transformational leadership, adaptive leadership, command and control leadership, autocratic leadership. So many different types of leadership model has come. So none of them are good, none of them are bad. All of them are valid at certain context. It is the context which is actually driving the leader to actually determine which particular leadership style is more suitable in the context. So nowadays you might be seeing that, like, a lot of organizations are asking for these servant leadership traits or servant leadership traits. People are asking, or people are looking for leaders to exhibit these types of traits. And that's how we thought, especially as Scrum Masters, where you see that most of the Scrum Masters are individual contributor role, where none of the team members are reporting to those people. And now imagine, like, in a model like where in a traditional hierarchical model where individuals are reporting to a manager, and manager has a lot of authoritative power to really drive those individuals to a certain goal. I am not saying that particular leadership model is also easy to do that. Every leadership model has its own challenges. But imagine a servant leadership style where each team members are peer, where you are actually working with your peer, but you have a lot of responsibility to achieve your milestone, a lot of responsibility to really meet the deadline, meet the goal. Now, you see, you can't really command. You don't have authority as an individual contributor or Scrum Master. You're just a peer. But a lot of expectations are coming from this role. And I see that a lot of challenges whenever we coach a Scrum Master, or whenever I become Scrum Master. Now also I'm a Scrum Master for a certain assignment. So we play different types of, we wear different types of hats. So when I do see that, like, as a Scrum Master, as a servant leader, it's not easy, because it's quite heavyweight topics. Servant leadership style, it's actually deal with a lot of factors. So when you coach to the senior leaders also for servant leadership traits, we see that a lot of challenges leaders express, because it's not easy, because always there is a deadline. All of us are working for certain deliverables. All of us are working for some milestone to be met, and our customers are badly looking for meeting that deadline. So whenever such type of deadline comes, then sometimes we forget to this servant leadership traits and get into that command and control mode, because it's much more easy for us to tell the people what to do and then follow up with this thing. It's much more easy to do that. But when it comes to servant leadership, it's not easy, in the sense, like, you can't really tell, because people will not follow, because people are not under you. So in that context, different types of challenges we'll experience. So let me try to go to next slide. Okay, so this particular model, you might be more obvious. You see that most of us are experiencing this type of characteristics in our circumstance. It could be customer, it could be end user, it could be our bosses, it could be our senior leaders. You might come across this kind of scenario. So this kind of scenario is sometimes also right, because the circumstance actually force those individuals to behave in that manner. So whenever we are under pressure, especially in a hierarchical organization where culture is like rapidly deliver certain things, where timeline is a crucial, individuals feels that is the only mode of leadership style, and it's much more obvious and much more easy in this type of leadership, whatever you are seeing. But you see the statement for 1,000 years back, someone said that like uh, what we are looking for, you are enabling individuals to perform better. You are actually guiding these individuals to elevate at certain level through your wisdom. Now you acquire this wisdom based on the observation, based on different kind of reading, or different kind of activities you are doing, through which you have acquired this knowledge, and through this knowledge you are enabling these individuals to proceed or meet that goal. So that's something what Lao Tzu is trying to say here. But you exist, but you are not at the front, you are not visible, but your existence felt by the team members, because you are helping or enabling those individuals in some manner. They are able to really proceed into the target milestone. So servant leadership, or basically I am saying Scrum Master, if you really observe carefully, some of the best Scrum Master, you please start collecting those information as your homework activity. Whenever you are a Scrum Master, or whenever you are a coach also, you try to find the people who are exhibiting good Scrum Master skill. What type of traits they are exhibiting, and what are their key skills they are demonstrating, through which they are becoming a good Scrum Master. Or whenever you interact with them, try to find that how they actually exhibit this. You will find a common pattern, like all those team members are in the personality wise, they have developed themselves in such a manner where they are selfless, where they are trying to learn by enabling the people. A very hard thing to follow. It's difficult to practice, because whenever you become selfless, you forget yourself. So your main goal is to people, your goal is to help the people, your goal is to help the people to achieve the milestone what the people set for. So it's quite difficult, because as a human being, we are naturally selfish. As a human being, where we are looking for what's in it for me, why should I. So that's the questions actually keep coming. So basically that is the first bottom pillar of the Maslow's hierarchical model. So as Ashutosh said, that we are talking about the self-actualization, which is far ahead, where actually you have actually climbed the ladder of the Maslow's hierarchy. But the fundamental Maslow's hierarchy is actually the basic needs, right? So one of the basic needs, if you climb a little bit higher, you have a satisfaction need, like where everybody would like to get satisfied for something. It could be monetary, it could be recognition, it could be appreciation, it could be anything. So naturally we are looking for those information. But when we elevate ourselves into this type of servant leadership traits, we are actually forgetting ourselves. But we are focusing on the bigger picture. We are focusing on the that large goal we have set for ourselves or for the organization. So quite tough thing to really follow. It's not easy. Um, Years of practice will actually transform our personality into that mold. So there will be a lot of roadblocks, a lot of stumble. You will face a lot of stumble, and then also you would like to go back to that original style. Original style is actually command. It's much more easy to give command. It is much more easy to instruct individual. It's much more easy to exercise the authority. Now observe even in nature also. If you look at the nature, you see nature always works selflessly. Of course, everybody has a demand to be met, right? It's not a plain vanilla statement. It's not easy to follow. So whenever we try to exhibit this type of traits, no servant leadership traits, we have to go beyond our selfish nature. So how do I practice that? That's also a natural question. How do I practice that? It's quite difficult. But when you start, what I have observed, that when I observe some of my good leaders, if I look back and read out their personality traits, I have at least fortunately worked with some of those leaders in my previous organization, and what I could see them, all of them has make a mark in my life or a couple of my fellow colleagues' life based on those leadership traits. Like they were my good mentor, and always they were ready to help me in terms of technology, in terms of domain knowledge, in terms of understanding the customer better. So always I have seen those leaders in a helping hand, and they are very passionate to help me in that front. Like they are passionately mentored me at that time. I still remember those leaders because I considered them or categorizing them as a servant leader, because most of the time they are not actually helping me because of their selfish goal, because of their selfish nature, but the personality is like that. They are genuinely willing to help the people. They are genuinely curious and trying to help a lot of people. And That's how I have seen I have become their follower. So I can command people to follow me, but the range of population will be less. But I can inspire masses by influencing them, or I can actually serve them with my knowledge. That's also a possibility where I am seeing that I can actually develop a servant leadership traits. So what I am seeing, what I am also trying to practice is actually through this selfless service. When I say selfless service, it could be I am giving my knowledge service, or I am giving my support, or it could be a mental support, it could be a like understanding their pain points. So basically empathizing with those people, like trying to listen to them, actively listen to them, and trying to see that if any of the any of the use cases you have come across which you can share. So maybe in shortest term, I have told a lot of things. Just to reflect back. So I am sure this movie I could not find yesterday. It is in Amazon Prime. I am sure you might have watched this movie Fury. So there is some debate going on. Can you exercise servant leadership in army, or in a battleground, or in a war zone? Most of the time in impression comes whenever there is a war, whenever there is a commander, there is a described plan, there's a prescription, there is someone who will tell what to done. And it's in a crisis situation. In crisis situation, your leadership style is most of the time tell what to be done, because you are the expert, you know what to do, you know how to do. So people will come to you to follow the instruction. So that imagination comes in our mind. But even if you really study, even in the leadership style also in those zone is also changing. They are also commanders are acting as a servant leadership trait. So if you watch this movie, you'll try to see that Brad Pitt, the type of leadership he exhibits, it's one of the tank, and that tank in, I think, during World War II, this tank goes to some German territory, and how he exhibits some of the traits. Of course, sometimes he coach the individual. I think he's the person whom he most of the time coach him, and trying to really elevate his emotional strength, and trying to elevate him so that he can perform at the right level. So he don't tell, he don't dictate, but he try to inspire, he try to tell some stories, he try to influence his mind. So basically, but he is in the commanding position. But sometime he acts like a commander, but most of the time he try to exhibit the servant leadership traits through which he try to bring or get along all those people. So the message what I'm saying, or what I'm sharing, is actually it is possible to exhibit servant leadership style even under crisis also. But if you watch this movie, you will see that like sometimes those type of traits are gifted, sometimes those types of traits has to be polished over a long period of time by exercising a lot of soft skill. That's the crucial aspects, the soft skill, like how much or how long consciously we are practicing those soft skill which can make us a servant leader. Because by actually polishing all those soft skills, people will try to follow you, people will slowly, you will observe that. Of course, you may not be consciously building that follower base, but at least you are consciously trying to help those individuals so that they become better whatever they are doing. So if you have that ambition or that goal in your life, so that's what I'm saying is most of the leader whom I am thinking, imagining, they become better because the genuine willingness to really help those individuals through coaching, and through mentoring. Either we have grown in say project management skill, or domain knowledge skill, or maybe technological skill, or maybe we have become a better human being because those leaders have been really guided us selflessly. So they have listened to us, they have understood what are our pain point, or what are our limitation in terms of even English speaking also. My mother language is Bengali. Most of the time I have studied still Bengali, so I can't speak proper English. So initial days also I had a struggling to really interact with the customer, even today also. So but compassionately or empathetically, those leaders has understood this weak point, and they have actually mentored us in such a way that I could able to speak better English. So I'm just telling this as an instance, like there could be many such a pockets where you can consciously identify what are the things as a leader I should help those team members. And genuinely, when you start elevating those individuals from whatever position they are in, then what I am seeing is people will start following you, and you naturally become servant leader. Though you may not be a designated leader, but you become a leader because you are doing something serving for the people on a different context. So that's how I'm seeing some leaders. I consider them as a true leader. Even when we actually start coaching, also some senior leaders, like what are the characteristics of a servant leader? Like if we have to tell, so then all those instances comes out. All those things we usually keep talk, and it takes years of practice to really alter our complete personality. Because you see the personality, it's not the individualistic anymore. It's actually like how can we actually see how can we ensure that other people also grow like us in terms of knowledge or in terms of many dimensions. So and we have been, or also I personally really experienced a lot of challenge when you try to exhibit such type of traits. And it's not easy because the ambient is so tight. Our ambient is not allowing us to exhibit such a role, because as I told you, right, if it is a hierarchical organization, if organization is driven by the lot of customer demand, and there is a speed of execution, and there is a rapid deliverable are essential. So in that circumstance, no, people are asking for a hurry, do it fast. So in that circumstance, you see that there are a lot of challenges. You'll have a lot of pressure. If you're a leader, you have a lot of pressure to produce rapidly, do all these things. So you may forego your endeavor, like to become a servant leader. You will genuinely come back to you this command and control leadership style. So that's the most famous natural leadership style. What I have seen, like it's much more easy to execute, because you need to just build certain angers. You need to ensure your boundary, the authority boundary, and you need to play around with your boundary. And of course, you are doing it for the organization. It's not like you are only doing for your own gain or your own benefit. Circumstance demand you to behave the way you are behaving. So in those circumstances, I have most of the time seen that, like, to become selfless and ensure that others people take up that that leadership traits, it's a time consuming, and some most of the time you may lose passion, most of the time you lose passions, and that's the challenge. Then you're gone back to the original shape. So the biggest $1 million question is, how can we consistently perform same all the time, irrespective of the pressure? So that's the journey. What I am seeing is we need to mature ourselves. That's the journey. We need to ensure that, like, every day, at the end of the day, when you really note down what are the best characteristics or best traits you have done, you need to see that can you really do some course correction. Because as I said, the ambient play a significant role, and of course your hierarchy and your leadership all support is also essential. If they are believe in a command and control leadership style, then for you it will be a little bit difficult to really play a servant leadership style in that context. So first of all, as a coach also, we need to really alter our ambient, because we also create a pool of servant leaders who believe in servant leadership style. I'm not saying this is the only leadership style which has to be exhibit all the time, because every situation demand different types of leadership traits. So that's how we need to take a conscious call and see if we can exhibit most of the time these servant leadership traits. Because especially in the technological era, you see that lot of language are coming, lot of technological things are coming, lot of dimensions are changing. So it's not also easy for us to really know everything, or I cannot tell all the solution. It's very difficult to tell all the solutions. So that means I need to really get along with all my team members. I need to ensure that all team members are support me, and all team members also understand what are the big picture. As long as they are not able to understand, they will not able to support you the way we are looking for a support. So that's how we need to elevate all of them, come to a particular stage, and come to a goal which we are looking for. So only way I am seeing that servant leadership style, servant leadership challenges, what we are seeing in a different kind of organizational circumstance, persistence. Because if we are consciously practicing it, I'm sure in 5 to 10 years we become a better servant leader, because the outcome is huge, because the resultant benefits are huge. Because you can tap the CPU power of all the people. Like if you have a millions of followers, follower, because they follow you because they believe you, because you might have changed some thoughts in their mind. You might have really did something or influenced something into their personality. Because of that, they're following you. And they are ready to do whatever you ask them to do, because they believe you, they trust you. So that's how we create that equation. That's how we create a relation. And it's not easy. I'm always telling it's not easy. It is a persistent effort from our side, where we consistently try to improve those characteristics which makes us a servant leader. The moment we change it, people will actually do whatever you would like them to do, they will do. And as a result of that, you'll have millions of ideas, because if you have millions of followers, you have millions of suggestions coming. And if millions of suggestions coming to you, that means you can make miracles. So in today's organization, where everything is changing, where innovation is the key, if you can tap those mind, if you can tap those people, where all of us are growing, where all of us are trying to contribute to become better. So you see, the knowledge base what we are rapidly building will be massive. So in that way, what we are forward thinking is, especially in a knowledge industry, you see this type of traits will be more and more prominent. So some of these dimensions I have touched upon, but I have touched upon very fast. So that's why I should really pause here for some time. So far, whatever I have said, or whatever I have shared as my personal observation in my own journey, you might have seen all those aspects. Like if someone is exhibiting a servant leadership traits, you see their personality is formed based on the soft skill. Like those individuals from since their childhood or since their journey, they have molded themselves into this format. Like they're very passionate, and they are people person. They listen carefully, they empathize with the individuals, and they try to live a life of those individuals, and they are always willing to serve those people with whom they work for. So you see, these are something which is actually our personality traits. It has to be something go inside, and it has to be consciously practiced through every Monday. So as you rightly said, most of the population said this, you would like to go to office to Monday. So go to office for what? So go to office for exercising these skills, because that's the opportunity platform. Because office is the research laboratory where we experiment whatever we are learning, whatever we are gaining knowledge. Of course, you may not able to get opportunity to the fullest extent to exercise all those skills, but if you start today, in another 5 years, you see there's a slow transformation in your thoughts. After several years of practicing all those traits, even the circumstance is a war situation also, you will not change. And as I have observed, and you will also observe, that most of the good leaders are actually started exhibiting this type of traits. They have already transformed themselves. They have already becoming already has grown into a servant leader format. And of course there will be people who are actually struggling, and some are consciously trying for it, some are actually struggling to reach to that state, some will not reach there because they don't need it, because most of the time where they live in the organization where it does not demand that type of personality or that type of skill set. But most of the innovative organization is looking for sustainable leadership traits, because as I told you, right, when you have a millions of followers who trust you, you can really make a miracle products or miracle services with the help of all those team members. And anywhere you go, as your personality is same, you can easily influence those people, because you have already formed or molded yourself into with all those skills. With all those skills has been polished in your personality. You do not have to really consciously try at that time, like after years of repeated practice. So a lot of homework has to be done for all of us. We have just started this journey, and some of you are already born with this skill. Some of you have acquired all these skills. Some of you have been started consciously practicing all those skills, and some of the people have already denied to change yourself, because you never find any benefit out of it. It's also possible because it's the circumstance which actually change us. It's circumstance which actually influences us to change our thing. Otherwise, if I'm growing, if I'm getting good result with the current type of personality, why to change? Even command and control also fine for those individuals. So it's not for all, it's for few. So this is something all of you might be knowing. The French Raven, I think 1970, has come out with this model. Like, from where power comes from? Like, from where we get the power? Is the position get the power? Is this the knowledge gives the power, or when I threaten someone and then I get the power? So it's a very old power model, power-based model. It's a very old power-based model. So we need to consciously choose what type of power we would like to exercise, and This is something to really thought up or think upon actually. What exactly I should admire for, what exactly I should aspire for. So this is connected with also, if you would like to exhibit the servant leadership style where you would like to serve the people for what you should serve for. You should serve for the technological front, like, okay, you have immensely acquired a massive technological knowledge and you would like to now leverage this technological knowledge to other people, and as a result of that, people comes to you. Or you are a people person where you would like to help the people to become a better people. So in that manner also, it's also one of the skill, like, so have you really would like to go that as a skill, or you would like to exercise your authority because you are the VP of organization and you have a lot of money power, a lot of power, and through which you would like to drive the people. So what exactly we are looking for? So as we said, no style is bad or good, no power formula is good or bad. It is the context which actually force us to drive what style is best suit for that context. So it's the self determination. We have to consciously drive what I would like to develop myself. What is my key strength, and where should I actually exercise my key strength? So you see, it's a lot of retrospective or basically reflective thing as a personality traits. Like when we talk about the servant leadership, either I am a scrum master, either I am a product owner, either I am a VP, does not matter. Every leadership can be exercised through the servant leadership aspect also. Whenever you say servant leadership, now you might be imagining, like nowadays, the Martin Luther King or the Mother Teresa or Mahatma Gandhi's picture comes. So just imagine those personality traits, what type of style they exhibited, and why they, whenever you type this name, why this name comes. Um, this is called, again, in I think 1980s, this model has come. This model is very popular. I'm sure all of you might have exercised this model. This model is more essential when you go for a coaching or when you become a leader. This is called situational leadership style, where actually it tells that based on the maturity of the individual, our leadership style changes. So, and it's a circumstance which drives for us to take a call. When should I actually tell? When should I sell? When should I influence? When should I actually just let go? Or when should I tell them, okay, people who can take care? So even when you tell about the servant leadership styles or the traits which I highlighted on, you need to be very cautious. Like, you cannot just seamlessly, we should not really seamlessly every time exhibit all those traits, because the circumstance, as I told, if it demand, like you got some bunch of freshers and you see that they are not so much mature, then it's your job to really handhold them, tell them what to be done, because they might be doing on critical activities, which is very risky for the organization. So in that circumstance, your leadership or servant leadership style has to be cautious. In other circumstances where you are working with some of the individuals where they are quite mature, they have been with the industry for the long time, they understand the context. So in that style, in that type, we need to you need to really exercise servant leadership style or different leadership style based on the circumstance. How much you should tell, or when should you let go, and how much you should mentor. So all those things is changing. So it's like a star, like a servant leadership star with the context. So I'm also telling the cautious part also, like when should you really exercise the servant leadership style? You cannot really uniformly apply servant leadership style in all the context. So be careful which particular context you are choosing. So that's very important. So this is extraction from my third book. It's called We Can Lead. You can see that book. So it has based on a model. So what I'm imagining, like you are like a large kalpataru vriksha, I call them, or a big banyan tree. So whenever the large tree concept comes in your mind, so what comes is actually it will give you a cool air, it will give you a shade, it will give you fruits, it will give a lot of benefits, but it has a deep-rooted system. So whenever you imagine yourself as an individual who has a deep-rooted personality, like you're firm, you're robust, you're resilient, you're persistent. So we build our personality in that manner. Like when we help others, when we try to exhibit the servant leadership traits, but our root has to be deep rooted, where we are firm, we understand what we are talking about. Whenever we tell about we are subject matter expert, but we are deep rooted because we have experienced our subject, and over a period of time we have gained that expertise, and that's why we are telling. So even our leadership style also has to be exhibited. But first I have to analyze myself. What is my key strength? What I am good for, and what particular area I should be strengthening. And my soft skill set is also need to be analyzed. And wherever is weak, I need to polish it before I help others. So that's why I'm saying a root or the trunk, or the root of the tree has to be deep rooted. Similarly, in our personality also. Similarly, based on your deep rooted system, your trunk will enlarge. Your trunk will become, like here I'm showing that Mother Teresa. So imagine this kind of personality. They have a strong soft skill aspect. Their personality is very strong because they have formed or they have molded their personality at that level, and that's why they could able to serve those humanities in the large scale. So when you elevate ourselves into that level, like this is called the servant leadership style at the highest peak level, where we have built ourselves with a firm solid roots. So that's how we can plan ourselves. All the leaders what I have seen for, they are based on the firm ground. So you can think of, you can visualize in that manner. So we all would like to become a great banyan tree one day, and our root is deep rooted, maybe 10-20 feet deep rooted, the ground. So it's just an analogy I thought of sharing with you. I'm sure this particular book is very famous book, and most of our leadership training we keep sharing this, turn the ship around. And you know this story, I think, on commander who is suddenly assigned for a nuclear submarine, where he has no clue about the nuclear submarine. In US, most of the people actually spend significant amount of time in the submarine when they actually work in the sub, because it's very critical system, and the captain or the commander of such type of ship are well aware about every systems of that ship. But that individual, that commander who has written this book, is just new to this system. So how do he run the system? So you see, he have exhibited highest level of servant leadership style. He is telling it's not a leader follower model. He is telling it's a leader model. If you really look at the video of YouTube of this video, nicely the draw explanation has been given. You try to map now whatever we have discussed so far, the servant leadership style versus the leadership style he has exhibited. He has actually revolutionized with this idea. He started creating thousands of his crew, hundreds of crew members as equal of his knowledge, like through asking questions, through bringing clarity, by setting a goal, and by building their knowledge. Like instead of telling them what to be done, he is asking this question: you tell us what to be done, what is the intent, what you would like to do, what do you think will happen if you do like this. So that means he is creating a lot of replica leaders at the ground level. So he's also leader, and he is serving those leaders. And also he is creating those leaders so that they equally take up the responsibility. So you see how to create a self-driven culture, like to build a leadership pipeline. You see, he has told, I have created a pipeline of leaders who are the thinkers, who are not the instruction follower. So all his, if you really, I request you to really, I'm sure you might have watched this video. You please watch this video several times. I also keep watching this video whenever there is a training comes, but I keep forgetting. I can't remember this, so I keep forgetting this. But this is the style which you would like to exhibit. We would like to create more leaders. We would like to empower people. We would like to kindle the hunger in the people's mind. And it's an exercise, because in what I am saying today, you may not appreciate it. You may not be able to do this tomorrow onwards. It takes years of practice, where we know the art of kindling those power in people's mind. And so it's quite tough job. And as I said, like Scrum Master as a servant leader, it's a massive work. So I have seen in a company like where 25 years experience people are becoming as a Scrum Master. You know, software engineers in US also 25 years plus years, so they don't really care about all this. But we do need those mature individuals who can run the show, who can drive the show. Though they are the individual contributor, but still we need those maturity. How can you get this maturity? That's the question mark. So though you might be seeing that, you're saying that in the JD, you'll be seeing this, looking for a Scrum Master, exhibit servant leadership traits, 10 to 12 years experience. So you see, the expectation is very high. So in a quickest timeline, how can you build a pool of such expertise in a less time? So that means what we have to do, we have to consciously practice to change our personality in that shape. And it takes years of unlearning, which we have learned since our childhood. If it is not structurally formed, or it is not right manner, then we have a lot of work to be done. So yeah, so I think that was my last slide. So what I am seeing, I am sure you are also seeing. So this is my servant leadership journey, which is going on. And so I'm seeing when I'll become servant leader. So I'm still watching that mountain. So that's how my journey is right now going on, and that's how I have been collecting those traits and looking for those leaders. Of course, there are not many, but whoever is there, I could see that they have really worked hard to reach that state. So it takes years of practice. So now we'll have a question and answer. Hopefully, I'll be able to answer some questions. So I'm also new here.
Thanks a lot, Chandan. And this was a wonderful presentation. And yes, I mean, I personally learned a lot of things in this, and I could easily resonate with the last slide that yes, it's a journey, it's not a destination. So I can never claim that I'm a servant leader and
Yeah.
I'm 100% a servant leader here, right? It's a journey at the end of the day. And as you rightly said, right, we reach that it's like two step forward, one step backward, right? We are always in that journey. Yeah, before we go into quick question and answer sessions, just wanted to tell you some very important announcement. Yes, you can claim PDUs and SUs for this session. You can claim one PDU and one SCU for this session. A little commercial break here before we go in for a question. So we have our signature program on coaching and transformation, which is coming up on 20th and 21st of February. So this is a link for that. In case anyone is interested, you can apply, you can register there. We are giving a 25% discount on that program. So there is a code also which I have shared with you. It is DISC25 is the code. So if you apply that code, you will get a 25% discount. We already have few participants from that program who are there today. So thanks all for joining. And I'm also sharing the links of our YouTube channel. I'm also sharing the links of the Telegram chat. And I'm also sharing the top 5 reasons why Agile Coaching Masterclass is important, right? I mean, what benefit it gives you. So if you're having an interview coming up, or if you're having a Scrum Master or an Agile Coaching promotion interview coming up, do reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to talk about it more. And just to let you know, for those of you who are new, we meet every Friday, 8 p.m. IST for this session. It is called as Happy Hours of Coaching. So do register for the future programs also. And on YouTube channel, you will see more interesting videos. So with that, I will open up for Q&A, and you can now unmute yourself. So if anyone wants to ask a question, you can unmute yourself, but please make sure that you keep questions relevant to the topic. That's just a suggestion for everyone. So yeah, you can, in case anyone has a question, you can unmute yourself and ask the question. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. This is Atul here. Yeah, thanks. It was really a wonderful session. I learned a lot from this session. Just one question. As you told, like, I mean, in some organizations, a push comes from the product owner. Like they give us a deadline of 3 months to 4 months, and simply the product owner and our organization leader itself, I mean, they ask the Scrum team to deliver. I mean, to deliver the product features in 1 month or 2 months span of time, and then the team works very hard on bank holidays, Saturday, Sunday, and so they get demotivated, discouraged. They leave the team, they leave the organization. So the role of Scrum Master becomes difficult. So there is no support from either product owner or I mean organization leader, senior management as well. So how to serve as a servant leader? I mean, even on the top of a coaching to senior leadership or product owner, it doesn't work out. So how to go about it?
So Chandan, you are on mute. Sorry.
Okay.
Chandan, you are on mute.
Yeah, Atul, yeah, thanks for the question. So I am in payroll by working on those use cases. Actually, it's very difficult thing, like the circumstance, you know, the, as I told, the business pressure, like in, especially in pandemic, you might be seeing this, everybody is look for those features to be launched as fast as possible. So you see, there is no easy solution. I am not, I am not giving you a medicine or a pill which you pop and it will work out. Actually, see, that's the organization is actually has to be transformed. So even our core job, no, why as a coach, we look for such type of such type of phenomena actually, and our core responsibility is to understand those customers, is understanding this the need or urgency of those things. Is it artificially created, or is there there a genuine need for such type of high pressure deliverable, then what can I help to the product owner? First is product owner, from where the force is coming for, and why, and what can I do? Like here, when I'm talking what can I do, is I am a coach actually. So my job is to actually glue. So I am trying to understand the leadership point of view. I am trying to understand the market point of view. I am trying to understand from the product owner point of view, and I am trying to see that what can be done best. Because as you said, Saturday, Sunday, bank holiday, all the dimension, people are like working like slaves. So what consequence we are living with? So of course we need to create a use case in this circumstance, because you see why Agile has come is actually to improve the quality deliverable, right? The innovation rate has to be improved. But you see what is the impact? What you are bringing is the huge quality on the deliverables. So when people are working, if you like a bots, when people are working like a bots, the deliverable will be also like a bots. So we need to talk with the product owner in that terminology, like what is the trade-off we are working on. Like when demotivated individuals write a single lines of code, you know what kind of consequence it will have. Of course you may meet the deadline, but it the consequence of what, and how long, like what could be your defect trends, can I show them with some quantifiable data with the product owner and the leaders, like can we change something? What retrospective action tracker tells, like all those employees are annoyed, all those employees are really piled up of action items saying that we are completely under squeezed, sprint on sprint, sprint on sprint, sprint on sprint. So where we are heading, so what are the things we are living for? So such a way we can constructively dialogue. I can understand if it is a product company, it's a different circumstance. If it is a service-based company, it's a different circumstance, because it's a crisis scenario. Now you see, as a coach or as a servant leader, it's not a one individual who is trying to change the whole ecosystem. We are trying to to bring a systematic way of addressing a big problem. What you said, it's just maybe 20% tip of the iceberg, but if I deep root it, it has a massive problem living into that system. And it's very easy to give lecture, because at the end of the day, it's the customer who pays for the money. If you don't push the feature out, you're not going to get money. But the question is, how can we change the ecosystem where people are genuinely would like to go to office on Monday? But the use case, whatever you said, I don't want to go to Monday because I know what will happen. So how can I change the ecosystem? Is there a possibility of change the ecosystem? As anybody is working on it, can we bunch of coaches, bunch of leaders are come out with action items through which we can actually try to change something? It's not a pressure. It's actually systemic problem. We can really figure it out. So I'm sorry, I didn't say the answer, but there are a lot of things has to be done to really address such a problem before it goes to atom bomb. It's just now a small bomb, but it's going to burst very soon. If
So
all
you
the
mean
brilliant, yeah.
so you mean to say like we need to convey the negative impact of very much decrease in productivity of a team gets discouraged,
Yes,
many more
yes,
defects. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So I request Atul, you do a hackathon on this topic actually, or you do a design thinking workshop on this topic with all the team members. At least 20 points you will get. Out of 20 point, 10 points you can take to the leaders, and you can show that like where we are heading. I am living today, but where I am heading, what will be the consequence if I go on in this situation like this? Perhaps you will get some glowing bulb.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Thanks,
Thank you.
thanks,
Thank you.
Atul. Yeah,
Thank you.
anyone else has a question? There
Sush,
was one question, Chandan, actually in the chat by Bal Ganesh, that
Yeah.
why has Scrum Guide removed this word servant leadership and replaced it with true leader?
Yeah,
Any
yeah.
thoughts on that?
No, you say true leader, you say servant leader, but at the end of the day, the kind of traits what would like to develop, no, we want
I
to
think
serve.
I'm not able to hear you. Can you hear?
I can hear Astush.
Yeah, Chandan, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. So what am I audible, right, Astush?
you're audible, yes.
Yeah, okay. So what I was telling, you tell it as a true leader or servant leader. At the end of the day, we are looking for a people person who can inspire the individual for the bigger goal, right? So if I am genuinely transforming myself, first is self. So first we fix the self. We build those skills which can make me a better leader. Either you tag it as a true leader or tag it as a servant leader. That is our key. So let us work for that, which can make me a better leader who has a millions of followers. And those followers are genuinely following me because I am able to serve them. They are my true follower. So let us build that journey. So anyway, Scrum Guide maybe say true leader or maybe servant leader, but at the end of the day, we want to serve the people to become better, or in a process, we are also becoming better because we are this opportunity platform through which we learn from each other. When we survey people, we learn a lot of things. So I didn't answer the question why they have removed, but at least
No, that's okay. I think Chandan, at least, yeah. I mean, yes, this has been a topic of debate in many of the conferences,
right,
events also, that why they have removed it. I mean,
right,
what was the need
right.
for removing it? Great, great. Anyone else with the question? You just unmute yourself and ask.
Can I
Yeah,
ask a question, Mustash?
yeah. How to bring
Sure,
the
Balkan.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask, today in the industry, are most leaders servant leaders or they are just conventional leaders? What do you think?
So I don't know who asked. I didn't.
So it was Partha.
Partha, okay.
Partha.
Yeah, Partha. As we show. Yeah, Partha, you see that situational leadership model, right? Actually, every situation demand different types of leadership traits has to be exhibited. So somewhere hierarchical leadership works, somewhere traditional leadership style works, somewhere actually that servant leadership or the transformation leadership or adaptive leadership or complex adaptive leadership style is also need to exhibit. It is the circumstance. When I say circumstance, there are a lot of innovative company where they need a lot of innovation. So there you cannot exhibit command and control. There are execution company where they are back-end operation, they need to rapidly serve some of the tickets. So there you have to do command and control. So you see, we have to take a call based on the context whatever we are operating on, and we need to take the judgment call, and more we know the different types of context. No, we can actually change our leadership style, because at the end of the day, outcome is actually what is impacted.
So which are the situations where you can do servant leadership, or where servant leadership is the best?
Yeah, you see, especially a knowledge worker, when there is a lot of uncertainty, ambiguities are there, a lot of innovation is expected. So in that context, you can actually enable those individuals to come out with a lot of ideas, lot of innovative way of building products and features. Because if you apply the force, if you apply a command, it suppresses the people's innovation skills. So in that context, if you try to apply a traditional leadership style, it backfires. Actually, a lot of ideation didn't happen. So in that context, like especially whenever you are working on a greenfield project where you say you are building a rocket to go to Mars, then you need a lot of new ways of building those spare parts. So there we can try. Actually, I never tried, but you can try at that context. Whenever there is the innovation is the key or key differentiator for you.
Okay, thanks Chandan, thanks Partha. Yeah, anyone else with a question?
Yeah, how to implement command and control leadership, because sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. So on the team mindset, it creates a very much negative impression of a scrum master or leadership. So how to implement command and control leadership effectively to get a good quality outcome?
See, if you are a scrum master, you can't apply command and control, because to really apply command and control, you need positional power. So I have to be your boss. I have to have a position higher than you. Then only I can dictate you, because at the end of the day, I can take a call on your appraisal. Okay, that's the fear factor. So some way I have to inject that fear in your mind, and through which I can drive you. So that's the command and control, right? So either because of some higher authority I should have a gun, which I can threaten you. So some amount of fear I have to inject. Then only this command and control will work. And of course, fear is, people avoid fear because genuinely we have been built, right? We should escape from the fear. So whenever you create fear, there will be a negative consequence. And in short term, you can do that, because say you have a tomorrow, there is a release. Today, you can really push the people to really work hard. So after tomorrow's release, you can take them to a Malaysia or Singapore, then you can actually resolving that issue. So you are if you can balance in such a way, then those command and control or applying power or injecting fear will not have a negative thing. So you can take a call, but you should have a positional power to apply command and control, or you should have a higher up in an organization because of some reason. Maybe you are brother of the CEO or sister or some sister of CTO, and because of that you have gained that power, and through that you can inject that fear. So in that way you can apply command and control. But as a scrum master, individual contributor, poor guy can't do really command and control. He has to exercise servant leadership traits or some knowledge power only he can exercise, or she can exercise.
Okay, so we'll give an opportunity to someone who has not asked a question so far. Anyone would like to ask here who has not asked it so far?
Hey, yes, Chandan, Harish here.
Hi, Harish. Yeah, Harish.
Yeah.
Hey. I'd like to know what percentage of the teams which you have worked with have actually moved to this servant leader kind of mindset, because I see mostly that the Scrum Master has undergone training and done all the required things to change his mindset and has become a real servant leader, but the team has not done it, still waiting in the command control mode, and the PO or the project manager is still in the command control mode, because project manager is not the product owner. Other than project management, he doesn't know what to do. So what is the percentage in India or the teams which you have worked with? Thank you.
$1 million question, Harish. I have to ask Alexa actually, because it's a stat question. But from my experience, there are very few people, right? There is a mistake also, right? I have done CSM, PSM. I am eligible for a Scrum Master role. Okay, so that's not the criteria. That's the problem actually. So that's why you see when people look for a mature Scrum Master. What do you mean by mature Scrum Master? Because see a bunch of Scrum team members, 10 team members, and I do not have any authority on them. So how can I really motivate them? How can I mobilize them for a bigger mission? And that to PO is actually putting pressure on me deliverable, right? So you see the kind of maturity is mostly about the soft skill. All the skills, whatever I have highlighted, you see the passion, resistance, resilience, all those aspects, persistence, all those things are soft skill, right? So how, by doing CSM, PSM or any other certification, how can you acquire such a knowledge? So it needs years of practice. As I was repeatedly telling, after years of conscious practice, you can transform yourself into that level where you can influence the individual by telling stories, by inspiring them, by telling them something, right? So the easiest thing is, tomorrow I have a deliverable, you have to fix it. So that's the easiest thing. But in some other way, how can tell that, right? So it's a very less people have reached to that level. And of course, there's a crisis, right? You see that there is a crisis. And what endeavor, what we are doing as a coach is actually we are trying to coach the people to come to that state, right? I am in a payroll by doing this service. If all the people have become mature, I will become jobless. So thank God I'm in job. So, but anyway, but it is a miles to go, right? Because we have to coach a lot of people to understand and acknowledge such type of traits exist. And by exercising those traits, what benefit I can get. So all those things is a lot of experimental stuff. But as you rightly said, I have observed very less such a team, but I have seen such a team, and they are really wonderful team. If you meet with them, you will feel, wow, God has created that equation. So there are teams who have reached to that state by forming, storming, norming, performing, because they have spent good amount of time. Their chemistry has been well built, and someone has, from the leadership or from the side, they have really worked upon on this thing. It's not just like that it came as a bang, but someone has really consciously built that team to come to that state. They have protected them, they have coached them, they have mentored them, they have really reached to that state after a lot of work. But hardly you will see that. But what aspiration what we are trying to build is, we are trying to change the ecosystem, and that is our determination. Is we would all of us has to really reach those team into that level by coaching, by showing them what is the best way, by benefits, by showing the benefits. Then only we can actually create ecosystem. Otherwise it will not happen just like that. It is not a natural phenomena. It's actually a lot of effort has to be put into it. So miles to go, and that's what our job is there actually. That's why we have to do a lot of things practically.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chandan. Yeah, that was wonderful. Yeah, sorry.
Hi,
Hello?
this is Satya.
Hi,
Yeah,
Satya.
we'll just take one last question, okay? Because in the interest of
Yes.
time, it's already, we are past time. So
Yeah.
we'll just take one last question. Yeah, go ahead.
Thanks, Ashutosh and Chandan, for your efforts. And this is not like only one part of community is growing. You are also growing the huge community.
Yeah.
So first, hats off for your efforts.
Thank you.
My question is on the Agile coach. So what are the metrics you think that Agile coach can be measured? The coaching of Agile coach can be measured.
So if I am an Agile coach, how do my appraisal should happen?
If I would be Agile coach and my management wants to measure my coaching performance, so what metrics they can say, okay, he is a good coach, or the Agile coaching is working correctly in the organization?
Yeah. See, actually, metrics is very crude measurement, right? Always metrics
Yeah,
can be manipulated. That's the biggest problem. But if you really genuinely would like to transform people's life, people will automatically tell that. So in my assignment, say I have a 1-year assignment or 6-month assignment, I have really interacted with many team members, and I could genuinely actually transform them or actually help them to think different. So if there are lines of people standing, which they can say that guy has given me a good suggestion, that guy has really changed our, say, build management, or maybe backlog management, or maybe customer interaction has improved. So if you see this kind of echo is happening more, that means you are doing good work. Now you see that there's a leadership pressure, right? Whenever they hire a coaches, immediately they need to say, okay, where is the outcome, where is the outcome, where is the outcome? So that's the problem, because as a coach you would like to go for a mindset change, right? And it's a long-term solution. Mindset cannot be changed in 6 months or 1 year. So the true measurement is if my end users, or basically whomever I am coaching with, they can say that yes, because of my existence, they could see the difference in the deliverables, in the collaboration, in the cultural transformation. If they can see the slightest difference, that should be the indicator. Like the leaders should walk into the platform and see and ask, because of Chandan's existence as a coach, do you see difference? Do you see what exactly he does? And as a result of that, is there any positive momentum? The needle, is it going towards the true north state? That is the best way of measuring. But today's people are passionate. They don't have patience, right? They want rapid solutions. So that's why sometimes it does not work. But to me, that's the true measurement of coach's impact into the ecosystem.
okay. Thank you. I think it was well answered.
Thank you.
I raised this question because there are so many coaches in our firm, and they want to see who is doing better, and they want to put them into the firefighting mode. So
yeah, I know. Yeah.
Ashutosh, I have a question. Can I?
Yeah.
Actually, we are almost about time. So, what's the question about? Maybe we'll see. Depending on the question.
What is the biggest myth about servant leadership?
What is the biggest
myth? Okay, this is the last question. Okay, no question after this. Yeah. Go ahead. Biggest myth of servant leadership.
Very difficult.
This is Rajesh Asana Chandan.
Yeah, Rajesh.
So Chandan, can I answer that?
Yeah. Okay, so help me.
Yeah. So the biggest myth about servant leadership is that you are a secretary. Okay, that servant leadership means that you are a secretary kind of a person who's actually like a servant, who's going to set up meetings, who's going to do minutes of meetings and reports. I would say that's the biggest myth. The second biggest myth is that people think that servant leader is a very soft-spoken person. He or she cannot be assertive. See, the important thing here is you have to be assertive, not aggressive. Command and control leadership is pretty aggressive in nature, but servant leadership has to be an assertive leader. So another myth which I have seen at least is, and Chandan, you can add on this, is that a servant leader is very kind of a feeble person. He or she cannot take tough decisions. I think those are some of the myths which I have heard about servant leadership myself.
True. I echo.
True. Thanks, Ashutosh.
Okay.
It was very clear.
Yeah, thanks, Rajesh. And in case anyone wants to come on a camera for a quick photo, I will be more than happy. I mean, this is optional. This is not mandatory. Again, if you want to come on a camera, you can come quickly. We can have a photograph. And those are the coordinates. In case anyone is interested in Agile Coaching Masterclass program, do reach out to me. We can talk on that, what that program is. I've already shared the YouTube video link of our channel. All the video, even this video is getting live feeded on YouTube. So in case you are interested, do subscribe to the YouTube channel, and I'll be more than happy to have subscribers like you. And yeah, wait for more such interesting sessions as we move ahead. I always believe that Friday was an enjoyment
this photo
time.
Where you will post it in the group or what?
Okay, so we post this photo on LinkedIn also. We post this on LinkedIn. Yeah, hello. Can you hear me?
Ashutosh.
Yes. Can you hear me? Hello.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah. What is the question? Sorry, I didn't get the question. Oh, I think we lost that person. Sorry. I think we lost that person. Anyways, no. We post this photograph on LinkedIn, and we post it not on group in the sense on the group channel. It will be posted. Okay, so that was, I think, the concern which the person had. I forgot who was the person. Sorry. Anyways, so thanks everyone, and it was wonderful interacting with you. As I said, happy hours is something which we all used to enjoy on a Friday, right? So we are trying to make it in a virtual format. and looking forward to host such more interesting sessions. So I'm not disclosing the future speaker, but we do have interesting speakers coming up in next couple of weeks, I would say. So on the 27th, I think, on the Sunday, we have a very interesting speaker coming. Yeah, sorry. Hello.
Ashutosh.
Yeah. Yes.
You're taking a photo now, or hello? You're going to take a photo, then you'll post that. This is Partha.
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So if you have a concern, I won't post it. If you have a hello, I think I can't hear you, Partha. Partha, I can't hear you. I think you're not able to hear us. Sorry.
No, I'm not. I'm unmuted now.
No, Partha, I think we are not able to hear you. Okay. Okay, fine. I think in the interest of time, we'll close this session. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, everyone, and see you. Okay, I think there's some problem, Partha, on your side. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, everyone, and it was wonderful interacting with all of you.